Today, we're making cute Valentine's DIYs that are sweet and way easier than they look. I'm showing you all the love, no mess, and no wallet stress. I'm Melissa, and this is Craft Crumbs. Thank you for joining me. When I was a little girl, I'd craft with my grandma, and we would make the most adorable fortune cookies from felt. You have felt that is polyester and then felt that's wool or wool blend. You can use either for this project. You also need some wire. Floral wire can be used, but probably not preferred. You'll want something a little heavier weight. 14 to 16 gauge is perfect. If you don't have this wire on hand, but you have plenty of paper clips, you can simply use that. Just straighten it out and it will work beautifully in this project. The fortune cookies are best when they're made at 4 to 4.5 inches. I'll make them at 4 inches today. I know. Fortune cookies are typically not pink, nor are they blue and some of the other colors we'll be using, but handmade means flexible standards. Yes or yes. Each cookie is going to require one circle and one piece of rectangular felt that's about the same length as your wire. You'll see here in just a second what I'm talking about. I'm going to start by folding them in half to find the middle. Pop a line of glue down that line that you just made, and then place your wire. The wire is almost, but not quite, the full length of the circle. I'm using fabric glue. You can also use tacky glue and even school glue. Use the rectangular piece of felt to cover the wire. Press it down to help it make contact. Once dry, I come back and I decided to use my pinking shears on the edges. Let's shape the fortune cookie. Fold it in half in line with the wire and place your two thumbs in the bottom horizontally and pull those two corners down towards you. And that's all there is to it. You can continue to work with it and get it into the shape that you like. Something I think is worth mentioning is when you fold your cookie, folding it towards you is going to give you a more lush result. Whereas if you fold it away from you, you may have to fluff it up a little more. If you have trouble getting it to take shape, slide your fingers under the cookie and pinch that fold and pull those sides forward again. Felt is going to be your best friend for this project, but let's say you want to venture out a little bit and try different materials. I'm going to make a fortune cookie from decorator's fabric and some of the fake leather or the vinyl that you pick up at the Dollar Tree. Each cookie is going to need at least two circles. We want to thicken it up a little bit, so just glue one on top of the other, right sides facing out. I'm going to do everything we did previously, lay the wire down, and then cover it with the same kind of fabric. Once again, I set it aside to dry. If you don't let it dry, it's not going to work. Okay, so trust me on that. I'm going to fold the cookie the same way we did the others. As you can see, it's very easy to put together and completely customizable. We can't forget to put a message inside our cookie. I cut a few paper strips down about 2.5 inches each, and you have a couple of choices here. You can put something pre-printed on these, or you can handwrite a message. These Tim Holtz stickers don't make a darn bit of sense, but if you can find one that does, you can pop it on here. I'm going to handwrite the rest, and this is where the true gift comes into play. Breakfast in bed, 30-minute massage, free car wash, a full day no chores, and bubble bath. I have two different colors of paper here. Both are printer paper, and the darker shade is just tea dyed. So I'm just doing that for demonstration purposes so you can see the different options that you have. I'm going to open each cookie slightly and place the message inside. To cuten these up a bit more, I'm going to add some of these Dollar Tree felt stickers in colors that contrast the cookie. Presentation is everything. I'm going to take this jar with the locking lid and place the cookies inside. I used my die cutting machine to make this little tag and punched a hole in it. And then once again, I'm just going to hand write and say, have a cookie. I love this ribbon that's sheer and multicolored. Isn't it gorgeous? It was a thrift find. I wrapped it around the jar, made a bow, and dovetailed the ends. I'm going to use yellow and white baker's twine for the tag. Here I'm just popping in one of these dots on the back so that I can hold that ribbon in place. I'm going to use another one in the front, but I first want to tuck the tag under so that one dot can do double duty and it'll hold the tag and the bow in place. I love when things come together without a lot of effort. I found this beautiful multicolored flower in my stash. I'll top the jar with that using a larger dot. I think the top of the jar would look better if it had something more substantial on it. I didn't have enough of this ribbon, but if I had, I would have created a bow and popped that on top instead. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think this gift is so adorable, and the person receiving it is going to get lots of goodies. For this one, I'm going to be using Astro Bright's cardstock, and I want to go in here for the bright red. I love how saturated the colors are in this pack. I'm going to cut it down to fit an 8 by 10 picture frame. I cut out a shape of a heart by hand, and now I'm going to trace it onto the top of the paper and cut it out with my X-Acto knife. I'm not cutting the entire heart out, there will be a portion of it attached. I'm going to show you a much easier way to do this in a few minutes. I clip the heart down to the side so it stays out of my way while I work on the next step. I'm going to take a paper towel and just dampen it because I'll need to clean my roller a few times during this process. I'm going to use a white paint marker to draw a ladder that leads up to the heart-shaped window. Here I'm showing you where to position the roller if you want to create a leaning ladder. You can certainly go straight up and down with this ladder as well. I like the idea of it leaning because it looks more realistic. But using the ruler as a guide, I'm just drawing out the two sides. And then I'm going to thicken up these lines just a smidge. I'll thicken them up a little bit more later. I'm going to start to draw on the prongs. And each time I move down to another prong, I'm lifting the roller up. I'm not dragging it. Dragging it would just drag the paint with it. You probably don't even need a ruler to create the prongs. You could freehand them on there and they'd be just fine, I'm sure. This is a very easy DIY and it creates a lot of mystery, which you'll see here in just a few minutes. There we go. And now you can just thicken these lines up as much as you like. Because I cut the heart out by hand, I had somewhat of an imperfect edge and wanted to clean it up. So I'm going to ink around it and see if I can hide some of those imperfections. I don't have a heart-shaped die cut, but if you do, this is how you can do it. I'm going to first run an oval through the die cutting machine. And then I figured while I'm here, I might as well emboss the sheet as well. I thought this would add a nice touch. I chose a double-sided piece of paper to make it easy for you to see this part because as you know, when we hand cut it out, we did not cut out the entire heart. I'm going to use this scrap piece of paper that I cut into the shape of a rectangle. We're acting as though this pink side is the back side. So from the back side, you're going to glue about half of that strip on there. And then flipping it over to the front, you're going to tuck the oval, or if you're doing the heart, tuck the heart under there, glue it on, and now you have a hinge. Moving back to the original piece, I'm going to tape a piece of cardstock that's just plain white to the back of the paper, and this is going to create a white window. And this is where the mystery comes in. I grabbed whatever I could find on my desk that had a chubby handle, and I'm using that to roll the paper backwards. And this is just an inexpensive white picture frame that I picked up at Walmart and had in my stash. I'm just going to pop it in there, no glass. Here it is all done, and you could certainly put something besides a white sheet of paper in here. I really just thought that it would add some mystery. You're not sure what happened. Did somebody jump out of the window? Did somebody rescue the person in the window? Did the person rescue themselves? By the way, I hate that I got that little dab of ink under the first prong. It's going to bother me for life, but it is what it is. I hope that you like this one. It's such a fun conversation piece. We've all had one of these little heart-shaped dishes at some point, right? I thrifted this little baby and I'm going to make it over to give it as a gift to my daughter. I'm going to be using gold leaf rub and buff, and it's going to get a little messy. Now, I've tried to apply this in the past wearing gloves, and it just sticks to the gloves. And I never really had a lot of luck applying it with a brush of any kind, so I'm just going to use my fingers. A little goes a long way, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit on here and start to smooth it out and see how far I get. So I'm pressing down and swiping out. If you tap, it doesn't give you full coverage. You'd probably end up doing two coats. I'm just going to press and pull. Covering an entire piece like this is much different from just gilding the edges of something you're working on. So you have to really take your time and make sure it's as smooth as possible while using as little as possible. This is something I don't see creators doing at all when they cover an entire piece, but I like to just let this set for about a minute and then I'll come back in with that same finger that I used to cover it and buff it one more time. This can really smooth the finish. I'm going to flip it over and add more rub and buff to the underside of the dish. When I was doing this, I realized that it could really be a double-sided dish because right there where my thumb is, that's kind of a rivet down and it could also hold jewelry. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this into a double-sided baby. I'll show you in the reveal the other things I do to the underside, but let's move back to the front for now. I'm going to give it a little bit of red coat around the edges just to define them and make them stand out from everything else. While I was doing this, somebody was relentlessly ringing my doorbell, and I totally ignored it. I didn't even go to the door to see who it was. My doorbell rings so infrequently that I'll typically tiptoe up to it and peek out to see if it's someone I want to deal with. If it's UPS, I'm totally answering the door. But I think it's totally fine to just say no to interruptions when you're trying to get something done. Here it is, complete. The gold and red together is striking. Here's the back side. I added a little red paint around the edges there as well, and a rub on transfer, and I think it's precious. This is where love becomes permanent. That rub and buff is fully committed. My daughter rescued this glass Coca Cola bottle from the trash can at work and brought it home to me. She knew I could DIY with it. I wasn't sure at the time what I wanted to do with it, but today I was sure that I wanted to turn this into a time capsule. I'm using glass paint for this project and I didn't have the pink color I was looking for, so I used a little bit of white acrylic paint and then glass paint in a magenta color. I mixed those together and I'm going to start to cover the bottle, the top and the bottom, but not the label in the middle. I'm just pouncing this on to get full coverage quickly. I'm going to use some of these felt hearts from the Dollar Tree. I had already pulled back some of the corners on them so I could apply them quickly on camera for you, but I'm using the white because I don't anticipate wanting to use the white on any other project. And I'm just going to randomly place these on the bottle, just a few. Now I'm going in with a coat of red glass paint. I'm just going to cover all of the areas that are currently showing pink as well as the hearts. I was doing this so confidently, not realizing at the moment that I was going to mess this project up in a minute. I'm going to use a smaller angled brush to go in around the edges of the heart to make sure that everything's covered. And then I'll get that top rim as well as just about a half inch on the inside of the rim as well. I gave it about 30 minutes to dry and I want to remove these felt hearts. I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to get it started. First one done. Second one had a little leakage, not too bad. And oops, oh no. You know what it was? I forgot that glass paint takes a little bit longer to dry. And you would think at this point that I would stop pulling them off and let it set to dry, but it didn't even occur to me. So I just keep going. I guess I was thinking, how bad could it be? Oh, that's how bad it can be. So some of them turned out just fine. Others, ugh. Let's get rid of these. I'm going to attempt to mix more of that pink shade that I had the first time. And I really get a little nervous when I do this because I can never get it exactly the way it was before. But this turned out just fine. I think it was almost exact. We're not tripping, we're just gonna fix it, and by we, I mean me and my paintbrush. For this bottom heart, I removed some of the red too, so I have to go back in them with red and doctor the top corner of that one. And here I am. It's dry for real this time. I'm going to add a protective finish. For this, you can use the Waverly Clear Wax or the matte varnish. Either choice, give it a good shake. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. I chose to go with the clear wax for this project. Typically use a wool brush to apply any kind of glaze. I'm going to do this in sections, and as I go, I'm going to take a clean white napkin and wipe off the excess wax so we can move on to the next step. I think this bottle will be a cute place to write a brief note about something that you did together, maybe a day trip or a date night, and just pop it in the bottle, and other small trinkets that will fit. Now, in absence of a cap, I want to create a fabric top for it. So I cut out a circle about 4.5 inches wide. I'm going to use a rubber band to adhere it on here. I want this to be easy to remove, so I'm not tying anything major here. To cover the rubber band, I'm going to use a piece of braided jute rope and just tie it in a knot. And that completes this project. Now, you could cover up that Coca Cola with another piece of the fabric, maybe create a bottle hugger, or you could just paint the entire bottle to begin with. I like the aesthetics of the Coca Cola sign, so I'm keeping it as is. I think making a time capsule of this bottle was a great use for it. It was fast and fun to create, and it could be used for you and your lover or you and your entire family. Just pop your special moments in there, little trinkets, and several years later, you can open it up and take a walk down memory lane. Here's a look back at what we created today. I hope that you found these projects to be not only fast and easy, but unique. As much as I love Valentine's Day, it's time to put it to bed for this year and do something different next video. I hope you'll be here for it. Don't forget to like, comment letting me know if you had a favorite project in this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, my friend, don't forget to craft what you love.